Alright, this is Navy Mike again, and back with part 2 of this 2011 Acadia replacing the water heater. I'm almost finished here now, but I wanted to stop before I put the bumper back on to show you all this part of it. If you got to the point where you got the bumper off, then you should know how to put the bumper back on. Just put the screws back in it and you should be good to go. Of course, don't forget to plug your lights in into those lights there in the front. There's one on each side, so that way you'll have some lights there, and there's the other one that you gotta plug back in. Another thing on this 2011 Acadia, if you have one, these running lights are notorious for burning up. You should be able to see that back there. You see the bulb, and then you see like a black area around it. Well, that's not a black area, that's a melted out area. These lights run super hot, and they burn the housing out, and then you wind up burning the bulb out, and then you think it's just a simple bulb replacement, but the whole housing has melted out. What GM has decided to do is, instead of replacing the whole lamps and warranty their craftsmanship or whoever their manufacturer is, they decided to put an epoxy in there, build the housing back up, and then form put a metal ring in the epoxy and then let it harden, and then they'll have that reforms the socket. Well, it's really a trashy fix. Mine have burnt out twice. I don't think you can really see that one in there, but it's still in the center. Mine have burnt out twice, and but they did agree to do the epoxy repair twice. These headlamps are about $350 a piece, and that's why they don't want to replace them. So just beware of that. Okay, so going back to the radiator, as you can see, the new radiator, I decided to go with an aftermarket radiator, and I found out a couple of things about this China-made product. That tells you something right there, just of the craftsmanship of this is bent and it's really not straight. The craftsmanship is really not very good, but hopefully it'll last a little bit for a while. One of the things on these special clips that I was talking about down, and you really can't see it, down on these transmission lines, well, you can kind of see it right here in this gap right there where my finger is, but that is nothing more than a spring clip. I'm not sure what everybody is talking about, a special tool, but really, if you have something like this, a little cheap dollar something tool, you kind of hook that spring and just pull that spring right off of there. And I've got a couple of springs down here. As you can see, here is one right here. So all you do is just hook on to it, pull it out, and then your transmission line will come off of this. This is the old, this is one of the, here go one right here. This is the old connection to the transmission line right here. And if you can see these little grooves, and that's the O-ring that seals it in there. You can see these holes that go through there. So that's where your spring just rides in, and it locks that transmission line into there, and also you can see that O-ring right there. So that's what seals that transmission line on there. Now, what holds that into place to keep that spring from popping off of there, and you really cannot see it here, but yeah, you can see it right there. If you look down in there, right, the black portion, here is, let me get my thing up on top here. Here is the nut right there. But right here, this black piece right there just snaps right over top of that spring clip, and that's what holds that spring into place. So really you just pop that little black piece off of the head of the spring clip, and then you just take this tool, pull your spring off, and pull your transmission line off. So the new radiator did come with new nuts. These down here, it did come with those already in place with it, with little blue plaque, it's somewhere down in here, just little dust covers was stuck inside of those, or dust caps was inside of there. So it was pretty easy going back in. I slid the new radiator in between very slowly. Be careful not to catch this and drag your fins on your coil, mess up your radiator start. When I got it down in there, and what I mean in there is you can see your two little grommets. This is the base of the radiator, and the grommets, little shock absorbers down there on each side, somewhere over here. There we go. Yeah, right there. When I got those down in there, it was pretty easy, except this little plastic piece here was a little bit difficult. You've got these clips right there. Let me see your flashlight. My battery is going dead on me, so let me see if I can get some light on here for you. Those spring clips, little gray spring clips, there's 3 on each side. You just really gotta put this black shroud, they're nothing more than dust covers, neatly in place here. You can see how it sits around in there, on both sides. Put the spring clips on, and then that's on both sides. See how that little slot for your air conditioner lines to be in there. So when you get everything in, you take your time, put it back in. Make sure the little locking clips, you've got a couple of screws right here. My light is kind of going dead on me, but when you get it in there, you bolt everything in. Make sure you account for all your screws. You put this little cover here back on there. Put your hoses back in place. There's your one hose, and then your other hose is down there at the bottom somewhere in there. Sorry for the light problem. And then I'm gonna put this dust cover on, tighten that down, then put my bumper on, and then plug my lights in, and then I'm finished. And there you go. You'll have a new radiator. Flush it out real good. Some people replace the water pump at the same time as the radiator, but this time I'm not doing that. I just did the radiator. So there you go. Good luck to you. Take care. Bye. From Navy Mike.